Hello everybody, I'm Trotsky. Anybody who's used my mods will know that I do a lot of exterior world editing, and I just wanted to explain some of the ins and outs of how I get around a lot of the issues that are caused by editing the exterior world. I've talked to a lot of people, and everybody has a the main consensus is that it's better just not to edit those, or to edit them and go into Fallout 4 edit and delete the XPRI, XCRI data. But fixing that stuff is so simple. It's crazy that so many people have decided to just shy away from that system. And it has led to a lot of mods that either it lowers FPS because they don't generate that new data. So you have a lot of stuff that in the cell you render every single object, which causes lower frame rates than if you combine all of those smaller meshes into a large mesh that is rendered much more quickly, because it only has to look at one file for that render information. So we'll start by looking at the data here, and inside here you'll notice you have your meshes and a viz folder. Inside your meshes you're going to have your pre-combined, and as you can see I have multiple folders here because I do a lot of pre-combining, and even like mods that aren't mine, when I download them, if I see something wrong with them, like they didn't generate Precombine and Previs data, I will do that myself. And also I've done a couple of compatibility patches, because when you do this previs and pre-combination generation, that it tends to cause issues, as we'll show you as I get into the video here. But the file structure is important to note. You see this DLC Nuka World ESM. Any pre-combined data that you generate for the Nuka World exterior area is going to be put into this folder right here. The vanilla area of the Commonwealth is going to be just put into the main pre-combine folder, as well as DLC Coast Far Harbor content is going to be put into DLC coast.esm folder within this pre-combined folder. And the only difference with the Viz folder is the Fallout 4 ESM folder here. All the vanilla Commonwealth information is going to be put into the Fallout 4.esm folder, but as you can see, the Nuka World is going to have its folder, Coast is going to have its folder, Automatron and Wasteland Workshop and that kind of stuff, they're all going to fall into the Fallout 4 ESM folder, because they don't have an extra area that they edit. It all is contained in the vanilla area. So let's come over here, and I'll just start out. This is Abernathy Farm. You can see this area right here is the general area here, and so we'll just start with a couple edits just to show you how things work. So I come in here and edit, and you can initially disable and hide from local map in this right here, which is slow and time consuming, and it's frustrating to go to every single object in here, and do that one by one, especially when you're doing stuff like rubble and leaf piles and this hanging moss and that kind of stuff. I mean, because it's just everywhere. But what you can do is you can say, come in here and let's just select all of the vines. All right, and then we're going to click on the banner of your render window and hit the minus button, and that's going to bring this window up here. It's just going to give you it's a batch action. So you can come in here, set initially disabled, do, hide from local map, do. You can also, if you don't want to do that, and say you want this stuff to be removed when you delete an item, okay? So we will mark this false and do, and then initially disable false and do. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to leave it as it's going to leave it there to begin with. So what we'll do instead is we can set a link. We can link this. We can link this to a another object. Okay, and so what we'll do is we set a keyword. And let me get down here. I think it's what was that? I should probably have figured all this stuff out here. I know it's a link. I want to say it's down past the recipe filter. I know that. Okay, so we have link. What was that? I know it was something. Link stacked item parent keyword right here. Okay, so you set the link parent keyword and then you select in render window something like this box here. Okay, so it links everything to that crate that you want to be removed when you delete that crate. And then you hit do. Now, I'm just going to do the vines right here because it's going to be something that's noticeable and something that, you know, it's yeah, it's going to be something that's noticeable, and I could do it real quickly here. So now that I have all that set to be deleted, when I remove that box, what I need to do, okay, and I usually I hit B to turn on these lines so I can tell which cell that I'm working in. Okay, and so as you can see, this world is, I must have turned the render distance. I must have changed the render distance. Let's go to properties here. No, not that one. Preferences. Did I change the render window? Clipping distance. I don't know what I did, but something must have changed since the last time I was in here because I didn't used to do this. But anyway, so I'm in this cell and I'll come over here to world and we're working in the precombined geometry area here, okay? Don't hit precombine for world or for interior cells. It'll take you like 8 hours to do all of that. It's ridiculous. So what we want to do is we want to precombine geometry for the current cell. All right, it takes like a couple seconds, done, just like that, okay? Now here's where it doesn't really get tricky, but you want to make sure that you generate pre-combined visibility, not just visibility. In my experience, generating visibility is something that you do if you say add a large object, but you're not adding it to a precombine. You're not generating new precombine geometries, so you only need to generate visibility. It will add that item to the visibility, but not need to reference new precombine data. But since we did precombine, because these objects are in the vanilla precombine file, so we needed to generate new precombined data in order to generate visibility so that we don't get those occlusion, the pre-culling instances happening. So this is, don't be worried, it's not editing these other cells, what it's doing is it's telling those cells that the cell that was edited has something different, and you need to look at this new file to get that information. All right, so what this is going to do is it's going to allow faster rendering when you're moving around the cell, and so it goes to every cell that has a visibility reference for the cell that you edited. So we just wait. Depending on how much you've edited, how large of an area you're working in is going to determine how long this is going to take. It takes me, because I have a slower computer, a few minutes to do this. So I'll just let this do this, and we'll come back after this is finished. All right, we're back, and as you can see, the camera has reverted to the initial camera position upon loading the cell, and I keep all of the loaded at the top here checked. That way I can see what all it has been affected by this process. And as you can see, there's a lot of cells now that have this cell has been edited asterisk next to it, and that's just to signify that new previs data has been generated for those areas. But as you can see here in the data folder, come back over here, there is now new visibility data, and the visibility is they're small files. It doesn't contain a whole lot of information. That's not what causes your files to really balloon up. It's these meshes here in the Precombine. As you can see, new files have been added here. There's only a few because we're only doing one area, and it only affects a couple of objects. So what we do now is, as you can see, I haven't saved this as anything, so I'm just going to save this as test 01, because I think I still have my actual testing. Yeah, see, I already have a test ESP, so I'll call it test 01, save, and then we're going to go here and create archive, and then just look down through here, make sure that this is all of the files. You're going to have quite a few. Just make sure no extra files crop up in here, like sometimes the world map the world map.dds will pop up in here. I have no idea why. It just likes to grab that sometimes. So just make sure all of your files are correct, and then pack your files. You're going to name this you're going to name it your ESP file, okay? And you're going to put a space dash space capital M main. All right. This structure right here is, I've noticed if you don't do it properly, it can cause issues too. I don't know why. Bethesda just the way their file system works. Sometimes that's all that is required for the previs and the precombine. If you're adding objects and they have textures, you're going to have a texture. All of your NIFs and all of your visibility stuff is going to be put in the main file. So we'll stop this right here and load this up right here. And I know a lot of people say to make sure that you're doing a fresh whatever, but I have found that it really doesn't matter. So I disable these two and enable this one, and then because those two are my cleaner settlements mod and they do something similar, so I want to disable those, and then I'm going to launch Alright, so we'll go ahead and continue from here. It doesn't really matter where you start from. Even if you start in an area that's affected by another mod, and it causes the area not to act properly, fast traveling away to a nearby location and then walking back will reset any persistent data issues that are caused by other mods like that. So as you can see, all of my stuff that I normally have gone, like in my mod, I have disabled this right here and put a workshop version in there. So let's come over here to Abernathy. Okay, so as you can see, there are vines here. So we'll open up the workshop, delete this crate. As you can see, the vines are gone. And as I walk through here, you can see no culling of, no pre-culling of objects, nothing's disappearing around me, no loss in frame rates. I mean, yeah, my video is gonna have some choppy frame rates because I'm recording, but you know, nothing is disappearing in the world around me. And that, I mean, honestly, it is seriously that easy to do this. I mean, the Precombine and Previs system is nothing that should give you worries. I mean, it's a very simple system to make work for you. The problems, of course, come when sorry, this is how I get around the exit save. Just look at your Pip-Boy and exit, and it, you know. So the issues come when you need to create compatibility between mods, and sometimes you can get away with just going in and doing what I'm about to show you. Sometimes you can't. So what I do is, come on, I hate this thing. It always takes so long to close, and it never, I don't know why it's so difficult for it to terminate that task. But anyway, so come in here and we'll do this first off, because this will be an easy thing. I need to make this patch anyway, and load up that robot, coast, and Nuka World. Come down here to my cleaner settlements plus, which I haven't uploaded this mod yet, but I really need to get around to it. And then Eleanor's Rockin' Red Rocket. Alright. And we do not, like it shows here, we do not set an active file. So yes, we want to load all of it with no active file. And while that's working, I'm going to open this up and let's take a look at the actual problems that come with these incompatibilities. Where did I put that? There it is. So plus and Nuka World and Ellie's Rockin' Red Rocket. So we load this up, and it'll be painfully obvious why it's important to make these compatibility patches as soon as this loads. All right, now then, let's rock it. Okay, so as you can see, the game can't make up its mind what is going on in this cell because I've got multiple things happening. My mod does one thing, her mod does another thing, and it's like, as you can see, it's freaking out. Um, you know, we get issues like this where, see, my mod allows you to do that, and it removes a lot of the tall plants and stuff. So as you can see, it can't figure out whether it wants that stuff there or whether it doesn't want it there. And I'm sure that, you know, at some point those pump arms will probably flicker in and out. But as you can see, the world is just freaking out. All right. So the way we fix this is, well, first off, we allow the CK to not freak out. There. We're working in the Commonwealth because, you know, of course, it's exterior Commonwealth cell. And, you know, sometimes with some things it works, with other things it doesn't. It's very, very mod specific on whether or not this will work. So what we want to do is we want to come in here, and it takes information from both mods, and if both mods do something to the same item, it's going to pick one mod over the other to work with. And as you can see, it creates issues. So this is what it looks like in the game. All right. So first off, there's a couple things that I need to do because this is her mod and my mod. So I need to make sure how, if you notice this right here, you can see the pump arms are attached to this. This is the main Red Rocket workshop. So I need to edit that and ensure that it's initially disabled and hidden from local map, because in my mod that's what it does, and it kept that information. So right there we're good. That's, you know, that lets me know that it's both mods are working. Make sure that just, you don't need to make sure everything is doing this, just make sure that, you know, what you want gone and what you want to keep is all together and working together like that. Okay, so as you can see, my mod is working, her mod is working in this area. All right, now then, let me turn those borders back on so I can show you what cells we're working in. Okay, let this quit freaking out. Okay, so as you can see, the red rocket is, it spans 2 cells here. The nice thing about objects like that is you don't have to pre-combine data, you don't have to pre-combine geometries for both cells just because that one object spans both cells. So the collision object's placement is in this cell, red rocket exterior. Okay, so if you edit anything about this model, its position, its height, you know, what color, you know, what, not what color, but, you know, where it's located, or if it's visible in game, you only have to generate precombine data for this one cell because that's where its collision object is situated. But with this, you can see everything inside of that border, the workshop border, has had something modified about it. So I need to generate precombined data for every cell that has a piece of that border in it. And the way I do that is, like I said, with the borders up, so I can see where everything, what cells is affected by everything. I open up the world, and I still only do the current cell. I don't do the whole area because then it'll grab stuff. Let me adjust this. Okay, so as you can see, parts of Sanctuary are visible from this cell right here. And I don't want to modify things in Sanctuary, so I don't need to generate precombined data over there because it's just going to add extra stuff that already exists in those vanilla precombined files that are in the vanilla game. So I will just precombine geometries for the current cell and then move over here to the next cell. Precombine geometries for this cell. Move over here to this cell. Do the same thing. Okay. Come to this cell. Precombine here. Okay. And precombine here. And as you can see, just a little bit hangs over right there, and I think for some reason, yeah, I think that specific spot has like a vine or something in it that, or maybe not. There's nothing there, so I'll just leave. No, I can't trust that because this isn't taking information from my mod, so I need to precombine that one too. All right, now here's the important point. You don't generate visibility for each cell that you worked in. Just go to your central cell, which for me here is Red Rocket Exterior, and then visibility, generate precombined visibility for all loaded cells. And then it'll do its thing, work, and we'll come back once that's finished. All right, and we're back. So as you can see, everything is done. We'll go ahead and we will save this and call it something that we can understand, something that we get. So I'll just name this Cleaner Settlements Debris Edition Automatron and Vault Tech DLC Plus Rockin' Red Rocket Compatibility Patch. It makes sense to me, so we'll save that, and then File, Create Archive. Now this is still, even though mine has a unique NIF, and hers has, since they have unique assets in each of them, they're not going to pull those assets from those files. It's only going to generate previs and precombine data for your compatibility patch. All right, so don't have to worry about am I stealing assets from this file or that file. No, you're not. This is only generating precombine and previs data. It will still require those other mods in order to work. So this is only a patch. It has nothing to do with Seriously, cleaners, settlements, debris, right here. I always find it easier just to, instead of trying to guess, what did I just name that? I just start typing in a little bit. So we'll go ahead and pack those files. And now the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter in what order I load Eleanor's mod or my mod, as long as this patch is loaded after that. So come down here to plugins, and we will load that plugin. Let's unload test because we're not working with that one anymore, and we'll launch Fallout and go back to the red rocket station. Alright, so let's go over here to the red rocket station, and we'll take a look at the effects of our compatibility patch. As I said, I've had issues where sometimes the patch doesn't generate correctly, and that's usually caused by too much editing. Like if things are too different, they may just not be compatible. I haven't figured out the workaround for that. So as you can see, nothing is flickering in and out. It's working just like it's supposed to. Come over here, delete that. Everything is working just fine. You know, doors work properly. It takes me into her mod. The way she made it, it has my mod on the outside with her mod working in conjunction, so you know they work correctly. As you can see, oh well, probably not see, but you know, nothing's flickering in and out. Have no fewer frame rates than normal. And in fact, with the amount of editing done in this area, my frame rates are probably better than what they would be if you know, if I didn't have Previs and Precombine generated for this cell. So as you can see, interior, exterior stuff, everything works the way it's supposed to. This is stuff I added in my game before her patch, so these people, they may get stuck in here. It's hard to say, but you know, whatever. I can put in stores and stuff in here. They don't need to be able to get out. But that's the basic idea of how you get two mods that work, that edit the same area to work together. It's really easy. The whole system is not as daunting as it seems at first. So where you're going to run into areas of where you're going to run into problem areas is going to be in, and I'll show you here in a second when I get that mod loaded up. I downloaded the Starlight drive-in is Bright again. Great mod, fantastic mod author. He really took a lot of time to make that settlement in the way he wanted it. And I usually don't download. I usually don't download those. I've made everything better, rebuilt all of the structures to be, you know, immaculate type of settlement mods. Because the only things that I want done is I just wanted the debris, the trash, and the tall plants removed. But his mod, I mean, what he did to Starlight is just phenomenal. So as you can see, I have his mod in place, and I have my mod in place. It typically does not create an issue for my mod if his mod is loaded second. The problem comes where if his mod is loaded first. That will, because my mod remakes all of the Precombine, Previs stuff. So if his is loaded second in the load order, it shouldn't cause any issue. You're going to get that frame rate drop that is an issue because it doesn't have Precombine stuff generated for it. But it's not going to cause a conflict with mine because his just overwrites mine with his. And since he took out all the plants and everything anyways, it's not an issue. But with the, let me see if I still have it downloaded. I may have gotten rid of it. The Hangman's Alley interiors, which is also a great mod. I endorse it, recommend it for anybody else that is looking for something for their Hangman's Alley to spruce it up. It doesn't have Precombine data made for it either, but if you just want to download it, install it, and just have that, it's easy to make that Precombine data if you have the CK. If not, it's going to give you a little bit of frame rate hit, but nothing too bad. I haven't noticed any occlusion, culling, and that kind of stuff. But it's a good mod. Okay, so we're right here, and as you can see, this is really why load order is really important. So as you notice, there's two saucers up there, and the reason is because, as you can see, the old one is there, and the new one that he's done is here as well. And the game can't figure out which one should take precedence. But as you can see, the old one is inside the new one. So this is why load order is really important. So we go to desktop. We'll come back in here. I did not mean to check that. Oh well, I'll fix it next time. So we'll come down here. We'll just move this down, relaunch this, and you'll see right away why load order is so important with these kinds. And here we go. As you see, the only thing I did was change the order that those mods are loaded in. And as you can see, his mod has a little bit of an issue right here. I've actually tried fixing that, and for some reason, sorry about that, my phone decided it wanted to ring all of a sudden. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button on my phone to turn it off. Ended up turning it on. Okay, so as you can see, everything in here works fine. The way he's done it is, it's okay. There's some bugs, but it's usable. As you can see, stuff disappears out there. And that's, I have no idea why that is. I think it has something to do with the old cell and the way he modified this cell, but it's a solid mod. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's not too over the top with its recreation. I really like the structure that he's made here. But as I'm illustrating, load order is very important. So, that's my take on, or that's how I deal with the pre-culling issues. Some people will open up the Fallout 4 edit and they'll just delete the data that is concerned with that stuff. This stupid thing. Well, I just have stuff going on. Oh shoot, I gotta go pick up my daughter. Alright, well, I'll just call it there.